We are now joined by director of Bad Candy, Scott Hansen. This movie is going to be showing at the Horror Festival, as we spoke about a little bit earlier in the show. How are you tonight, Scott?
Doing great. I'm
fresh from working with Morgan Freeman, I hear.
Yeah. Working with Oprah today. It was kind of cool. And,
look at you.
From do you remember Lewis from Iron Eagle? Yeah, Lewis and Morgan Freeman, and just some interviews. It was kind of cool for Apple Plus show.
Cool. Nice.
This is my side world. My side work, I guess. And then movies is my goal one day. Full time.
I was going to say, obviously, that pales in comparison to being shown at the Horror Festival this weekend.
I'm like super. I do a lot of camera up and DP, directing, you name it. But like everybody knows me as that horror guy on the side, making these weird movies, and that's kind of what I look for. But my day job is all of that professional stuff.
Oh yeah, you've got to have your day job.
Yeah. So, but if I can make killing movies and just weird Halloween things all the time, that's the goal. That's the goal.
Definitely. So we've already spoken a little bit about Bad Candy tonight and some of our favorite parts of the movie and everything, but what we didn't really talk about too much about was what the film really truly is. In your eyes and in your words, what is Bad Candy about?
Man, Bad Candy is just a love letter to some of my favorite films, like anything from Tales from the Crypt, Gremlins, growing up with Trick or Treat, one of my favorite movies of all time. It's just, with Bad Candy, we just figured there's not enough Halloween movies. We love Hocus Pocus. We love all the Tim Burton classics. Trick or Treat came out like 14 years ago. And, there's a Halloween movie every few years, but that's it. And I was just like, how fun would it be to make a movie about one fucked up street on Halloween with all these people intersecting, kind of like a Love Actually meets Halloween, and that weird mix where it's like all these people are connected, but they don't really know it, but they're all like within a mile of each other in this small town. And that's kind of what we went off. And, we're huge fans of like Crash, Love Actually. We try to stay away from the anthology vibe and be more like a linear movie, there's a beginning and end and everything connects. But it's going to get grouped in as an anthology, but we tried to make it like a regular movie, episodic, 4 or 5 parts where everything flows creatively and there's a good flow, and there's a beginning, middle, and end and a twist at the end. And that's kind of how we approached it, to be honest.
The anthology side of it, I think it does kind of get lumped in that because it has kind of that neon sort of 80s vibe sort of going over the top of it. And of course, what was it? Scary Movies to Tell in the Dark came out a year or so ago. So obviously people are going to lump that in, but I love the analogy of the Love Actually of horror. I really like that.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies. I love that movie. And, I love all movies, but it's like, you just got to be inspired by that. And obviously Trick or Treat, I know like the back of my hand. And I love the one you just referenced, the Alex Olov. I can't remember how to pronounce his name. He's awesome. Troll Hunter. I love Troll Hunter. You can't,
awesome movie.
Yeah, you can't get enough of Troll Hunter. But he had like $15-20 million, and we did Bad Candy on $120,000. So it just shows like how things are moving. We didn't have a studio; it was all personally funded, and just from us doing gigs. We live in Atlanta, Georgia, so we work on movies, saved money, and we shot this on the weekends. It's truly an indie movie to that degree, like straight up. Hey, let's shoot Saturday. Hey, let's shoot next Saturday and Sunday, and see what we can get. And then, but I used every connection I had. I owned some cameras, some gear, but to do that, to do what you saw for $120,000 is just like bonkers. Like, now if I would have had 15 million, holy shit, I can't even imagine. Like, so and when I tell you who we're trying to get for the sequel, we can talk about that later. You'll see why I'm trying to raise some more money. But we are trying to do a sequel right
now. Nice.
I said earlier on before you joined us those opening 10 minutes of your film, the only thing that I can possibly compare it to is Trick or Treat. So amazing that you've brought that up straight off the bat, because to me it feels like this is like a direct relation to Trick or Treat. So I think that's fantastic. And
yeah, I love Trick or Treat.
In some ways, having watched both films relatively recently, I almost mix up elements of the story between the two.
Take that all day.
No, I mean, it's fantastic, and you know, a great film, great tribute, an amazing opening sequence to the film that really, you know, really struck a chord with me, and it looks absolutely stunning on a big screen.
Yeah, thank you.
You said that you've raised all the money yourself.
Yep.
How long did it take you to put the film together? And then was it very much kind of like piecemeal, where you might have had 3 or 4 months between getting your next bit done? Or
exactly, yeah. I think we took 18 months to film, like a 30-day shoot, because it was literally like my day job is like, if you see my site, I do a ton of music videos for big metal bands, rock bands, and then I'll do documentary stuff. So I'm like doing these Slipknot and, you know, like As I Dying metal videos and all these bands, and I'm literally saving money to like, oh, I'll do it for this and save budget to throw towards the movie, because nobody wanted to fund it. It was, you know, it was very hard. This is my third feature, and to get movies funded in general, I just, you know, it's always like you're like a used car salesman trying to pitch the world to somebody, and I was just like, we did have one investor, but he just helped out a little bit, but it was still like me and Desiree, we just funded it ourselves, and she works for Food Network and Netflix as a production manager, so she was just like, she'd go do her show and save money and be like, hey, we have like $7,000 saved for this shoot. Let's do it. We can do it. And we would pick the actors off and you know, set everybody up. And I think we cast it for like 6-7 months. I would say overall it was about 2 years worth of work to put the movie, but definitely probably about 28 days spread out over 16 months with, you know, post production. But just little by little, inch by inch, and you know, even the big creature, like there's a giant bat creature in the movie, which is like my favorite part, costume wise. But like that guy, Wayne Anderson, if you look him up, he did the damn Predator suit on the Predator years ago. He did Jurassic World, and I literally like, my background is special effects, so I have like, anytime I do a movie, it's like I give the special effects guys all the time they need, all the money they need that I can raise or get to them. But I always go way over the top as much as I can, just because I relate to that world. But pulling Wayne is like, he's like the Rob Bottin. You know, Rob Bottin did The Thing in 1981. You know, and tons of epic 80s movies. But Wayne is like that guy now, and he literally. It was an email. I emailed him. It was like, hey, I know you're on Avatar 2 with James Cameron in New Zealand. I got this tiny, low-budget movie that we can't afford you, but we need this giant bat creature. And he's like, hey, I'm working on Kate Winslet's Avatar. I have, you know, I'm free in 2 months. And so we booked him a flight from freaking New Zealand, from Wada, to fly in to do this giant bat creature, which he had already pre-made. And yeah, it was amazing. Like, pulling somebody like that stature onto a $120,000 movie is like unheard of and just lucky. And it shows, and it's just, you know, it's just a crazy, that's amazing how but it took a lot of work, you know, and we got kind of lucky. But
obviously, like, the movie is lower budget, and you're saying 120K, which is mental. But I said to the boys before when we were talking, the VFX and the practical effects in this movie are just stunning. It's, for what you've made it on, just unbelievable. So it's great that you brought that up as well.
Yeah, I'm from that world, and we try to give, even the puppetry. We had Shane Morton, who did Mandy with Nicolas Cage. He did the Cheddar Goblin, and he was our little creature in the beginning. The girl, She has a power. Anything she draws comes alive in the scenes, and she makes this little monster. And Shane Morton from Screen Lab made that for us. And he was in the green screen suits with the puppetry and making it move and walk and turn, and scratch at the door. But like it was all green screen, and he did it there and just keyed it out and, tried to make the movements as best as we could. But it's kind of a shout out to Gizmo, I guess, but he did the Cheddar Goblin, so he was already really familiar with puppetry, so it was kind of cool to bring him in. But he's a local, so that was easier than getting Wayne, for sure.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think I was going to talk about some of the actors you've got in this. Obviously, Corey Taylor and Zach Galligan.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned that you work on the Slipknot videos, so that's probably how you approached Corey, I'm guessing. I mean, you can correct me. But how did you get Zach for this film?
Yeah, it was crazy. And rest in peace to Sid Haig. We actually had Sid Haig blocked.
Oh, man.
And that was going to be right before Rob Zombie did 3 from Hell. We had the script sent to his agent, and I was like, yeah, we got Sid. He's going to be the perfect guy. And I love Zach. Zach did a great job. He did, but he was totally our fill-in. And he knew that, but he was like, hey, I'll fill in because I know you almost had Sid and Sid died. But Sid was our original, even in the concept art, we had Sid. Well, we had Bruce Campbell and then Sid. So, but Bruce Campbell was he wanted our entire budget for like a couple of days. So, that's who we're trying to get for the sequel right now. So we're talking to Bruce about a potential sequel, and then, but yeah, I went back to Corey. I reached out to Corey's people, and I was like, hey, I know you've done some acting stuff, and we just need you to be yourself and be a DJ, and you're a metal singer, so how this shouldn't be too hard for you. And he was all about it. He read the script, and he was like, yeah, I'm fucking in. As long as I get to keep the Chili Billy sign. So I was like, yeah, we sent that to him, and it's in his house. And he was like, I was like, we'll burn it down anyways. If you do a sequel, we'll make a giant sign, like a whole background or something. But yeah, and then Zach was amazing. Zach had recently moved to Atlanta. We weren't sure if he would do it. I hadn't seen Zach in anything in years. I think the last movie I saw was like Waxwork, or I just hadn't. He's done a lot of other things in TV, and I was like, hey man, like we'd love to have you as this guy, and he looks great for being 57. He looks amazing, and we reached out to him, and he was actually a Slipknot fan, which is I think how we got him. So that was kind of funny. But yeah, he came out, and but yeah, we had Sid. We were like this close, and he got really sick, and he passed away on us, and it was really unfortunate. But I can't imagine that. You can only imagine what that would have been like with Sid. So I don't know, but
I think the two DJs are absolutely brilliant together. But man, Sid Haig, that would have been.
He just had it. It was totally like House of a Thousand Corpses, just wild, funny, and fucking don't give a shit. That's Sid all day, and just I can't imagine. So, but yeah, rest in peace, Sid Haig. But I think we made out with what we had. They were definitely backups. But you kind of work with what you can. And my goal is just to make a good movie A to B, and like Halloween to the core, because I mean, we're the weird people in the neighborhood who put out 150 pumpkins and like every Halloween decoration you can imagine, and people drive past our house and they're like, oh, there's the Satanists again, and I don't know. These guys with the crazy power bill and all the Halloween decorations, that's us. That's me and Desiree. So yeah, we're pretty normal, but we love weird shit.
Oh yeah, you have to. You've got to have your thing, haven't you?
Yeah, it's cool. It's fun.
In terms of the stories, obviously it's being lumped into the anthology side of thing, and it is a series of stories that you're being told in a linear fashion. But where did these stories come from? Were they completely original that you guys made up yourselves, or was it things you'd heard over the years and sort of retconned them into your movie, or where did the concept actually come from?
Yeah, it's just me and Desiree bouncing stories off. We almost had another actor named Dee Wallace. Almost had D. It was so close. She was supposed to be in the ending story, but we just timing wise, she was on another movie, and I tried my best, but I'm going to try to get her in the sequel because I love Dee, and I've worked with her before on other stuff, but yeah, all the stories are original. We were just like there's a few other stories we couldn't afford to tell yet that we're probably going to save for the sequel, but we just wanted to center it around like a Halloween town kind of vibe, this weird town called New Salem. It's out in the middle of wherever, and it's just like a lot of magical stuff and weird shit happens, and we tried to get it like a modern spin, very hocus pocus vibe. And but yeah, everything's original. Because I've seen other stories with like radio hosts, and you got like the Tales from the Crypt or like that kind of stuff, a Creep Show, but I've never seen stories that make the host part of the movie. And in this movie, when you get to the third act, you're like, oh wait, these not to spoil anything, but you kind of realize these guys are connected to the story when you think you're watching just what they're telling, and we kind of connect in a fun little way, just to kind of. And that's how we try to get past the anthology vibe, where it's like it's a linear movie, but we're gonna get grouped into anthology. There's no way around it. Just how it goes. But
I think you should just lean into it.
Whatever, bring it on. But I just don't want people to be like, oh, it's a Blumhouse anthology. Yeah. It's all like night vision, running around with a camera. It's like cinematic. It's it's lit. Georgia weather in Atlanta is crazy. Like that one night with the bat creature, I think we had like 5 inches of rain that turned into sleet and snow. And me with these Pumpkinhead guys and women, I was just like, sometimes I try to do funny things to get the best acting out of actors. And I was like, they were in the studio and I was like, hey guys, it's pushing 33, 34 degrees. You guys can be in your underwear and pumpkins on your head running around from the giant creature, which nobody had seen at the point. They just heard there was a creature coming. And I just, I kept everybody away from Wayne, and I got everybody ready. And I was like, all right, you're not going to have to do much acting. You're just going to react. It's cold as fuck. It's raining, and the snow is coming in a few hours, and we had snow come too. And so, but like, tying everybody up and having the rain come and all that, and then they see the creature. We had a couple people just like the reactions were golden, like just so they hadn't seen it, and it's just like reacting is the wingspan, the wings pop out 18 feet, and it's just like it was all like in camera. It wasn't visual effects, like and I just wanted them to get that reaction on set, and I think that these guys were running for their lives. It's kind of funny when you see the sequence, but nobody expected to see that giant bat creature.
Just out of interest, how long did that scene take? Because there's such complexity in that scene.
Yeah, we only had 2 days. I can only afford Wayne for 2 days. I'll be honest, that's all I could get him for. So we had 2 nights, and it's just like we went through a lot of different actors, and the biggest thing is making sure we had to make foam pumpkins because we tried real ones and they just kept falling off and smelled like terrible, and you could not breathe out of them that well. We tried it. I was a test dummy for that. So we went foam pumpkins. But 2 nights we filmed everything in that scene with just the monster. It definitely took 2 nights. But it was a lot of fun doing that, and having somebody coming off Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 7. I don't know how many damn avatars there are, but he's working on all of them. And he was just telling us James Cameron stories. And I'm a huge fan of Wada. I've shot New Zealand a couple times. So, just kind of working with people who are connected. I mean, James Cameron is like, Aliens is the best movie for me. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. And Terminator 2, you can't beat any of that. Titanic's incredible. So anybody coming off of his team, I was like, can we steal you for 2 days? Is that cool? He was excited because, and it's interesting here in his point of view, somebody that big who's done Jurassic World with Chris Pratt, done Avatar, and they come to this tiny, low budget movie. He was just like, and this was amazing to us. He was like, you know, I work with all these big special effects companies, but coming to your movie, you guys treated me incredible. I had a lot of free reign. I didn't have producers yelling at me. I didn't have like this crazy shit that I have to deal with on these $1 million movies. And he was just interesting hearing his perspective coming to the, you know, tiny low budget movie that was super professional, because we all work in the industry, but we just didn't have the budget. You know, he probably spends 120 grand on one day, you know, for crafty or whatever, you know, I don't know. So, but Wayne had a great time, you know, and it was really awesome work with him.
I think it's great testament to that thing that you can approach somebody, and providing you approach them in the right way,
yep,
you more often than not actually get the right reactions, don't you? And I think what you've done here is testament to that you've gone out, you've pretty much approached everybody and pretty much got everybody that you've gone to, but you've gone about it in a nice way.
Yep.
And you've managed to pull together this thing, because at the end of the day, nobody knows where the next Halloween's coming from, do they? You know, and that's what I think is fantastic. You know, you ask the right questions, you get the right people, you pull it all together. Do you have any guidance for budding filmmakers to encourage them to kind of follow their dreams, or particular ways that you went about talking and approaching people?
Yeah, I mean, I get asked that all the time, and I'm not successful yet. I'm still climbing up the ladder, but I appreciate it. But I just tell everybody to, you know, if you get in the movie business, it's a long, hard road, and you're going to be broke for a long time. But you know, if you see your vision and you want to stick with it, I mean, consistency and just staying and trying to be, you know, you're not going to be the next James Cameron. You can't. You just got to be yourself. You know, you got to stay true to yourself and bring your own vision. And that's how I was with Bad Candy. I was like, I don't have a budget. I can't get legit investors. You know, and you know, here a damn pandemic hits and the world goes under. You know, it just topples everything. But I would just tell people to be consistent and work your ass off. And literally my day job is working with, you know, documentaries, music videos and stuff, and I would just save as much as I could, and just keep saving and just do little by little. And luckily Bad Candy has led to a couple other big. I have a sci-fi movie coming up in August that's like my biggest budget ever, and that's kind of off Bad Candy, but that one's called Hope's Fall, and it's a sci-fi horror, so I'm really looking forward to that. Because we got Michael Biehn. We're talking to Michael Biehn right now.
Nice.
And I love Michael Biehn, and I've, you know, only met him at cons, and I was like, "Hey, man, we can afford you. What's up?" So, you know, I just, yeah, I just, you know, you just got to work hard, and I can't tell you, I've been doing this for 12 years, you know, and it's not easy. It's really not easy at all. And with Bad Candy, you know, we sold the movie to Epic Pictures, who did Terrifier. So they're going to give us a pretty good push. And Terrifier became, you know, the next Jason. Yeah. And I love Terrifier, and I was a fan of that because we were shooting that right as that came out. And I was just like, cool, we're on the same, you know, distributor. And we have a clown. Our clown is more, you know, we're not killing people. We're not murdering kids, but our clown is like the good version, you know, he's anti-hero. So, you know, I thought that was more fun for us, just because it works better for our story. But and we got a 300 theater release, which is insane.
Wow.
Budget, and well, that's in the USA.
Yeah.
Like 300 drive-in movie theaters. So in mid-September, we're going up against Candyman, which is amazing because that's Jordan Peele. And then we go up against Halloween Kills in the next week. So we're going to get our asses handed to us, definitely. But I mean, just to be in that world, like, hey, you're going to be a Halloween movie going up against probably the best Halloween series of all time, Halloween, with Jamie Lee Curtis. And then we're going against Jordan Peele, who's like a horror icon right now with, you know, Get Out. And I think he just produced Candyman. So this we're the little movie that could going up against these big movies. And if we do well, the first week they would extend us. They plan to extend us. So I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm just going to keep pushing it daily, and we've won a bunch of film festivals. You know, we've won, I think, a lot, and you know, just the film festival world. I would tell people you got to do the film festivals. You know, and I love going to them. And unfortunately, with the pandemic, I come to y'all's, but I'm always there, which kills me. I don't even know if you guys are open over there, but I don't think so yet, right? Not open.
We kind of open. I mean, our cinemas are open, obviously. Oh, cool. And we are one of the first film festivals to be running after lockdown was lifted. So yeah, it's kind of moving in the right direction.
That's good.
Fingers crossed and touch wood. All the social distancing stuff could end on the 21st of June.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed, either next year or the year after, we can actually get you into sunny Romford with whatever your next film is.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, we're talking to Bruce Campbell right now, so trying to. He said no at first, now I came back and trying to get him for the sequel. So he'd be awesome.
Is that not the moment where, like, you just turn around and say, "You said no the first time, so we ain't gonna ask you the second time, pal"?
He actually liked the script. He liked the script, but he didn't know who we were. And his agent was like, you know, he needs this so much per day. And I was like, no, I get it, I understand. And they don't do the 1 day thing for, you know, somebody of his stature. He's needs to do like a week or, you know, 3 days. So I was like, I'm gonna come back to you. Let me get this out, see what happens, and then I'm gonna make a professional offer when I can, and maybe he'll have heard of it by then, or maybe it just crossed his desk, you know, and maybe he'll be easier to get. But he said it was like a no yes. It was like, you can't afford me, come back, and I'm like, I'll be back. We'll get you.
Awesome.
I will not stop until I meet a brick wall.
I had a technical sort of on-set question. Obviously, there's two of you, yourself and Desiree, wrote and directed this, right?
Yep.
I'm always fascinated. How does it work with two of you directing on set?
This was our first time directing, because she directs a lot too. She does like the bigger stuff. Like she did like a lot of Food Network Netflix shows where I do a lot of more short film, and I've done a few other features. But coming together on this, we just thought it would be interesting to try it. And you know, we're kind of like we actually get married in September, so it's kind of like, you know, we live together. All we do is talk horror, and she's like really weird like me, so it works out great. But like, you know, there's a couple scenes in the movie where, you know, there's a character who has too much LSD basically, and she has fun with a corpse, you know, and
my favorite scene, by the way.
Yeah, and that scene was hilarious because, you know, it was just like, you know, it was just to do that, you know, to do it professionally is tough. But when you have a woman on set, it makes it a lot more comfortable for the other woman, you know. And so kind of approaching it like that, because Desiree, she's a screenwriter, I'm a screenwriter, but yeah, it was interesting. We had different duties, but I think it made us stronger. And it was definitely a lot less stress because we were footing the bill, so we had full control of all time and when we wanted to shoot. If we didn't want to shoot, we're not going to shoot. Or we couldn't because we didn't have enough money yet. We had to keep saving. But it was a great combo. But yeah, I always see like double directors. And I'm always curious, like, how did that work for you? Or, you know, I've heard good stories and bad stories, but you know, we're pretty equal, and we definitely champion each other. And when we're writing the script, I mean, we had 3 walls in the house. I think all the walls back here, you can see some storyboards in the back over there, where that's the sequel. Yeah, we're already starting the storyboard and concept art. But we had like 3 walls covered, and I draw. And so like I draw the storyboards out, try to get all the sequences down. And he's more good with the logisticals and, oh, how much is that going to cost? How much is this going to cost? So it works out.
Must have been a positive experience. You're still together and getting married. So
yeah, we made it through the movie. So, yeah, made it through deliverables, which, you know, that was to give any advice to anybody coming up. you know, save all your money for delivery. That's the most expensive part, is putting it in different languages and closed captions, and that's the worst part of filmmaking. But it's, you know, to sell a film properly, you have to know how to do all that, and that's the business side.
We're going to start wrapping it up now, but the movie Bad Candy is going to be showing at the Romford Horror Festival this weekend. You guys are up for 3 awards for our festival. Which ones is it again, guys?
Best feature, best director or directors, and best cinematography.
Awesome.
Nice.
Three big
honor that you guys had us, because we couldn't do it without you. And I try to tell people, like, the festivals are everything for people like me, you know, that nobody's heard of us. So I appreciate you guys.
That's awesome. You were one of the first films that we actually had submit to our festival. And when you get a film that's as strong as yours, you know that you're on the right track to greatness, so to speak, in terms of the other films that followed along in your wake. So yeah, I mean, it was a real high point, I think, for us in terms of the submissions, you know, at to start like that. So thank you ever so much for submitting it to us.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, because this is the first year of the horror festival as well. So to get something as good as this, yeah, it's a buzz.
I'm excited. I wish I could be there for the next one. So the pandemic will be over, hopefully.
We're going to hold you to this.
I will be.
Your next film.
We don't forget, like Bruce Campbell. We're not going to forget. We're going to ask. We're going to keep asking.
So what I'm going to do, guys, if anybody has any last questions you want to throw out there, now's the time to do it. Other than that, though, we'll just wrap it up here, and we'll finish off the little bits at the end. But Scott, this has been absolutely fantastic. I've thoroughly enjoyed this. Bad Candy is a movie that I feel like across the board we all kind of got on board with, and we've all enjoyed talking about during our little panel discussions. So yeah, this has been awesome.
Nice, and we're like this close to getting it in the UK theaters, so hopefully that works out too for September, October. Like,
well, you're in the best UK theater this weekend, so
yes. Yeah, I hope there's some scouts there and they see it and they're like, "Oh, we need to do
this." Is there anything you guys want to add on, or are we okay just to kind of wrap out there?
I think the only thing that I want to ask is, someone mentioned to me the significance of a certain comic in your film.
Okay.
In terms of how the story pans out. Obviously, this is something I know nothing about, but I'm told that this is like quite a significant part of your story.
Okay.
First of all, is that true? And secondly, how did you, without revealing too much, how did you come up with that idea to include this specific comic?
The first appearance of Punisher, which this cat right here, this cat destroyed that comic, so I was able to burn it in the scene. I burned it. I know people are going to be like, why did he burn that Amazing Spider-Man first appearance of Punisher, which I threw in there for any comic book fans like me, but it's because my cat ate it and destroyed the value. Anything paper he destroyed.
So the significance of the comic is more personal than the actual story.
Yeah, I had it like in good condition for years, and it just like the plastic came off, and then he destroyed it, and I was like, well, I need something cool for, you know, a little throwback to like 20 years ago, and that was appropriate, you know. And I hated burning it, but it was definitely there. He burned it.
Yeah, I mean, the person that brought it up actually said, because if you think about the character, that bears great significance on the film.
Oh yeah, totally. That's crazy. Somebody picked that up. That's amazing. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that.
So that's one of our judging panel. Bradley, well done. You got that right.
Yes.
Yeah, sort of.
Can't let him have anything, can you?
Right. Okay then, Scott. Thank you so much for doing this. This has been absolutely brilliant.
Thanks,
and again, we are showing. Yeah, definitely, definitely. I'm excited to hear about that. Definitely. But yeah, man, we'll just let you go, and we'll just crack on with the rest, and we'll see you again soon, hopefully.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks for your time, and have a good festival this weekend. I'll be there digitally.